Have you ever wished there was a simple, natural way to calm your digestion, especially after having your gallbladder removed? Or maybe you have your gallbladder and you're suffering with digestive issues. Well, welcome back to Gallbladder Gone Now What? The place where we connect history, science, and sacred texts to help you live in harmony with the body God designed. So, if fatty meals are still leaving you bloated, or if you dread that uncomfortable heaviness after eating, or if you're wondering whether you'll ever feel normal again, then today's episode is for you. Because we're diving into a little golden treasure from Ayurveda. This treasure is called CCF Tea. But here's the question. First of all, what is it? And also, why has this little tea been treasured for thousands of years, 5,000 years? And how does it actually work inside the body when you no longer have a gallbladder? So stick with me to the end because not only will I answer those questions, I will give you 5 powerful reasons to drink CCF tea daily. Plus, I'll share exactly how to make it.
Gallbladder gone. Now what? Let's heal from the inside out.
Welcome to Gallbladder Gone? Now what? The podcast for Christian women navigating life after gallbladder removal. Hosted by Jami McQuivey, holistic nutritionist, wife, boy mum, grandma, and a firm believer in God's design for lasting health. Did you know that over 1.2 million Americans have their gallbladders removed every year, and that the majority of them are women? Even more eye-opening is that all gallbladder issues are digestive issues. And poor digestion is at the root of up to 80% of all disease, including hormone imbalances and weight struggles. While Jami isn't a doctor and this podcast isn't medical advice, she shares real solutions rooted in research, experience, and God's Word. Let's get practical, biblical, and real, one step at a time.
All right, so when I started going and learning about Ayurveda, one of the things they talked about was the CCFT. And it was interesting because they almost said it like I should know what it is. And so I didn't know what it was. And so I had to dig a little bit deeper and ask. So it's short for cumin, coriander, and fennel, but we'll get to that. So I want to share a little story about this tea. So I have a client, and her name was April. And April was really busy all the time. She was running around chasing kids, had these digestive issues, and she really wasn't willing to, at this point, to do a lot, to change a lot. She was really looking for these small little tips and tricks that would get her moving in the right direction before she really committed to anything bigger. And so we settled on that she could have hydration between her meals, and that she could, with that hydration, she could do CCFT. So she started doing it. And in the beginning, she was, putting it into her system was a little bit challenging because she lived a life with no margin. And that's one of the things we had to talk about as we were working together. But so this CCFT, she started to get in every day in between her meals. And it was less than a week later that she was feeling better, sleeping better, feeling calmer. And so then she started feeding it to her family. And now it's kind of a family traditional drink that they have all the time. So there is a history to CCFT. So Ayurveda is the ancient healing science of India. So it's been practiced for over 5,000 years. So it has a lot of history. So practitioners discovered that simple kitchen spices could do far more than flavor food. This is really elemental in Ayurveda, as we use spices that are in our home and we use them with every meal, but then we also know how to use them medicinally. And so we know that herbs can balance the body's inner fire, which is called Agni. Now, Agni just means digestive fire. Now, we have 4 different types of Agni. And there's actually more, but 4 basic types. And I've gone into that a little bit in past podcasts, and I will do one completely focus on the digestion. But for now, I just need you to know that that CCF Tea stands for cumin, coriander, and fennel. And it may be the simplest daily ritual you can start that brings immense relief, real relief. So, cumin, coriander, and fennel were often boiled together to make a daily cleansing drink. So, it wasn't exotic, it was just everyday medicine. It was just kind of when we put in daily practices, little daily practices over time have really big effects. And that's what these families were doing. They would drink a little bit with their meals, but most of it was done between meals. And it was their way of supporting daily digestion and detoxification. And so this tea has stood the test of time. It's still being prescribed today by myself to others and also Ayurvedic doctors for this gentle cleansing and restoring digestive comfort. So, why does it work? How is this happening? So, if you don't have a gallbladder, we can break it down. If you do have a gallbladder, it still works. It's just a wonderful thing to have. But we're going to do it from the lens of if you don't have a gallbladder. So, the first one is cumin. So cumin supports the bile flow, and we know is going to be incredibly important when we have not really addressed the liver. We've just gotten our gallbladder out, then we know that we still have a bile flow problem. And so we really want to support that bile flow, thin things out. And it also, cumin is known to help with nutrient absorption. Those of us who've had digestive issues for a long time, if you can't digest your food, if you can't break it down really, really well, then it's not getting into the bloodstream. If it's not getting into the bloodstream, it's not being transported around the body. And so we have some of us, multiple nutrient absorption issues. And so cumin supports both that bile flow and that nutrient absorption. And without a gallbladder, that bile drips continuously instead of being released in that concentrated way. So, cumin helps your body use that bile more effectively and more efficiently. And that's what we need. We need that. The body's ability to concentrate that has been taken away. So, we need to use that bile more effectively and efficiently so that fats digest more smoothly. We still need those fats to really be broken down so we can use them, or we can become vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K deficient. And that'll start its own host of problems. So cumin is known as one of the best herbs for digestive sluggishness, and it's delicious. It's used a lot in ethnic cooking. So when I make Mexican food, I use it. When I make Indian food, I use it. When I make Mediterranean food, I use it. So it's very common, and I love doing that. So the second one is coriander, and this is kind of a cooling and soothing herb. Its energy is kind of relaxing. So it eases digestion, it calms acidity, and that post-meal heaviness that we have without a gallbladder, it can really ease that. So it also supports the liver. So we know, I've talked about for a long time, we've got to be supporting the liver. I don't care if you have your gallbladder or you don't, you still need to be supporting that liver because we just live in an environment and in a culture that really stresses that organ out. So the more help it can get, the better. And so this coriander is also prescribed for people who have IBS or colic, those little stomach aches. Again, this is a great herb to use with families. All three of these are mild enough that you can use them with your kids. I've even used it with babies who have colic. And so this is really, really beneficial to have. The third one is fennel, and this is absolutely famous for relieving gas, relieving bloating and cramping, and it relaxes the digestive tract and it promotes regular elimination. So I use these. Now, there's a couple ways we'll talk about in the practical how to actually use these, but together, so each one of these are wonderful on their own. But when you put them together, these spices create just this natural synergy. It's naturally caffeine free. And again, it supports that daily cleansing, promoting comfortable digestion, soothing, common, and it's delicious. And so these can usually be found in the cupboards of most families. So the sacred text and spiritual connection to that is that Ayurveda believes that the body is a temple, and so does Christianity, right? So Ayurveda is not a religion, but a medical system. But in Christianity, we also believe that the body is a temple. So digestion just isn't about food, it's about how we digest life, right? And so when I was talking to my client, we had to learn, and this is one of the things we really talk about in the seven principles, is to create that margin. What is going on inside that's creating this chaos on the outside as well? And so there are sacred texts that remind us that cleansing and purity matter. There's across every culture, we practice this cleansing, we practice this purity because it's essential. And so in 1 Corinthians 6:19, it says, "Do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit that is within you?" So we support our digestion gently. We're honoring that. We've all been where we don't feel good. And when we don't feel good, we can't focus. We can't spread joy. We can't spread God's word. We can't step into our divine assignment. We get grumpy. We get tired. There, we don't want to serve. We're not mourning with those that mourn. And, all of these things that we're commanded to do, if we don't feel good, we can't do them. And so taking care of our temple is so important. So Ayurveda teaches the principle that when Agni, our digestive fire, is balanced, that our whole being thrives, our mind, our body, and our spirit. And CCFT is one of the simplest daily rituals to tend to that inner fire. And in Psalms 104:14, it tells us that herbs are for the service of man and women, right? And so we need to be using these herbs, not just for taste, but for health and healing. So, how do we do it? So, first of all, I love to get this. I'll tell you how some people do it, and I'll tell you how I do it. So, I like to get the seeds because the seeds are freshest. I will put a link in the show notes to my favorite blend of CCF tea and where to get it. And it's on full script. It's amazing. You get 10%, I'll give you 10% off of um, purchasing it. And it's just so delicious. So let's talk about the practical application. So how do you use it? So I'm going to give you a link in the description for my favorite blend. It full script and you'll get 10% off of that. But what you do is you take a tablespoon of these herbs in about 3 to 4 cups of water. So it's about a teaspoon per cup, but I like mine stronger, so I double that. So there's a couple of ways to do it. It's super simple. Is you're going to put the herbs in the water and you're going to simmer it for 5 to 10 minutes and then strain and sip warm throughout the day. So that's kind of a stovetop. I weirdly find that more challenging than the other two options I'm going to give you. So the second option I like to do is I put everything in my Instant Pot and I put it on for 10 minutes, high pressure, and I come back. And so that I feel like that gets more of the flavor out. I like really flavorful things. And then I just strain it and I use it. And that's if I'm in the morning, I didn't make it the night before. So the night before option is really nice, especially in the winter. Is I'll put the herbs and the water in a crock pot overnight on low and wake up in the morning and I can just strain it and drink nice warm tea. I don't even have to get anything ready. It's just right out of the gate. It's so delicious. So it has kind of this mild, nutty a slightly savory flavor. It's a little bit different than, those, of course, those fruity flavors or those flowery flavors, but it's really, really grounding and nourishing. So it becomes a drink that your body craves it the more that you drink it. And it's one of my favorite. I put it in a belly blend and it is so good. So you can drink it with meals, just a little bit, because remember we hydrate between meals. Um, a little bit with meals, but mostly between meals for that gentle cleansing. And like I said, it's perfect in the colder months, but do not be worried. In the warmer months, it's really refreshing at room temperature. So that's something I absolutely suggest. Now, for me, if I get the seeds, I have a coffee grinder that is specifically for herbs. No coffee goes in this. And so I will take my herbs, that tablespoon for every 3 or 4 cups or 2 tablespoons, and I'll put it in my coffee grinder and I'll grind that up and put it, and that makes it even a little bit more flavorful. So as you can tell, I'm all about flavor. And this is one of my kind of go-to, especially if I'm just kind of feeling even a little under the weather or like sometimes you feel like in the winter when you can't quite warm up. This is the tea that I will do. So CCF tea isn't just a drink. It's a reminder every day that healing can be simple. It is manageable, it's within reach. It's also about daily rituals that support God's design for our body, even when we're missing something like our gallbladder. So remembering that by small and simple things, right, that are great things made manifest. So it's the little things we do every day, the little acts, the little um, rituals that we place in there, praying every day, fasting once a week, moving our body every day, having good sleep every day. Like these are the things that really heal our body. I think everybody wants that big one thing. Um, and so if you've been struggling with bloating or heaviness or unpredictable digestion, this humble little tea may become just your new best friend. So here's what I want you to take away from today. CCFT is simple, but it's powerful. And it's just one of the many tools that Ayurveda and holistic nutrition has given us to support our digestion, especially when we no longer have a gallbladder. But here's the thing. What works best isn't the same for everyone. Your body type, your digestifier, your lifestyle, all of that matters. And that is why my program, my DIY program, I walk you step by step through discovering your unique body type so you can finally understand what your digestion needs, what foods truly work for you, and how to create daily rituals that bring lasting relief and energy. So right now, so people don't know what to do. There's too much to do. They don't have the time to do it. But if we could find those 4 things tops every day, you say your prayers, you move your body, you drink your CCF tea, and then one other thing, right? Then, and you're getting good sleep, then you can't help but feel better. And so through this DIY program, will help you to discover and get very honed in on what will work for you and your body and your digestion and your lifestyle. So, if you're ready to stop guessing and start healing and feel confident in your own body again, I'd love for you to click on that link and go on over and purchase that DIY program that I have made absolutely doable financially. I wanted to make this to where anyone can do this. So there is even payment plans. So you can sign up through that link in the show notes. But remember, your body was designed for healing and you don't have to figure it out alone. Find people, find support, the support you need. And I will do everything I can to help you. If you have questions, go to my Facebook page. There's a link in the show notes. I can address things there. Until then, happy digesting.
If this episode encouraged you or offered practical insight, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Leaving a review, subscribing, and sharing with even one friend helps more people discover this message, and Jami is truly grateful for your support. Be sure to check the show notes for free downloads, helpful resources, and a link to join Jami's private Facebook group for extra support and community that blends practical health with biblical truth. Just a reminder, Jami isn't a doctor, so always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your health plan.